He wrote to Elon Musk. He wrote, "Hi Elon Musk, here are some cut and dried cases of Usaid in Nigeria, corruption and money laundering you may want to look into." On January 16, 2025, just 4 days before Donald Trump's inauguration, Usaid made a $3.3 million payment to a vendor in Nigeria.
So guys, it will shock you to know that David Hundeyin wrote Elon Musk disclosing how American people's money was being sent to Nigeria even after Donald Trump was inaugurated. They knew that Donald Trump was going to start investigation. So they quickly wanted to send more money into Nigeria through USAID. Money that we are now being told ends up in Boko Haram fighters' hand. David Hundeyin directly wrote to Elon Musk. You need to see what David wrote. Let me not talk much. Let me just allow you to take a look at this video. Take a look for yourself.
David Hundeyin, who actually blew the whistle in the first place. David Hundeyin wrote to Elon Musk. He wrote, "Hi Elon Musk, here are some cut and dried cases of Usaid in Nigeria, corruption and money laundering you may want to look into." On January 16, 2025, just 4 days before Donald Trump's inauguration, Usaid made a $3.3 million payment to a vendor in Nigeria called Dye Global LLC. I looked into the payment history and saw that between August 2020 and January 2025, at least $48 million of U.S. taxpayers' money supposedly invested in Nigeria went to Dye Global LLC, registered in Bethesda, Maryland. So I looked into Dye Global's activities in Nigeria, and it turns out to be a run-of-the-mill climate NGO, which organizes meetings and seminars and stages photos with politicians, and little else. Yet nearly all of its payments from USAID in Nigeria are labeled all other professional, scientific, and technical services. I mean, since Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th, at least $799,000 of U.S. taxpayers' money has been paid by USAID to recipients in Nigeria, marked undisclosed or miscellaneous. At least $446,000 of these undisclosed recipients in Nigeria were sent across 8 payments between January 29th and January 30th. Meanwhile, you will remember that U.S. President ordered USAID to halt all payments on January 28th. USAID Nigeria disobeyed a direct instruction from the U.S. President and spent the next 24 hours after the instruction frivolously shelling out $500,000 of U.S. taxpayers' money to recipients in Nigeria marked undisclosed. I'll leave the implications of this to you. Well, David Hundeyin had also alleged that Barack Obama's government was responsible for unseating Goodluck Jonathan using Boko Haram and staging the Chibok girls kidnapped, sparking the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls movement, while the posts quickly gained momentum, with some ex-users sharing Goodluck Jonathan's interview after he lost the election.
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming. It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if, by my own thinking, and also the way some other people look at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned. Sending that person to Nigeria at the eve of election, after Obama even issued a statement directing Nigerians to vote for the next chapter, that tells you something. And we should not sweep these things under the carpet. If a foreign country, whether African country or even America or any other country, interferes with our own elections, we should mention it.
Professor Killer, I was hearing you cracking up when Jonathan was saying that tells you something. Rufy on fire. Please unpack these details.
I couldn't hear the entire interview.
Oh, you didn't hear the interview? Okay, no problem.
But
that's Jonathan Page when he was explaining about it. He read this and I was overwhelmed.
No, like he said that Obama had undue influence on his election.
On the election.
Even before the announcement, he had said, let's vote
for another chapter.
Yeah, for another chapter. So just Obama's influence.
Number one thing.
Yes.
Where is facts? The first story you brought forward,
yes,
David showed facts.
Correct.
Of an undisclosed
listed
period.
them
There's
and
facts.
had pictures,
That's
images,
just like the
everything.
facts I'm asking for. That where was the line item of a company related to Boko Haram
and all of that. That's just all I'm asking for. Okay, I and somebody were having a conversation while all of this was going on as regards this fact and documents, and we're having a conversation as regards when was the atrocities in Congo first revealed. As at 1890s, a man called Morel had set up a newspaper out of Congo where he was revealing the atrocities. He used to work for the Dempster line, and he discovered that the guns they were bringing in, they were bringing in guns from Belgium, and they were taking out minerals from Congo. As at 1890, the facts were there. The Lumumba files, there was a quick declassification of those files. As at the 60s, as at 64, we know those files. Where are the empirical files to be able to show that? They've posited all sorts of things by saying, they even said up to the extent that because David Axelrod worked for them, Tinubu and all of that, was that free? It was a service. Anybody employs an election manager. So them Tinubu using David Axelrod was a service and they paid for. They employ an election manager. So Jonathan saying, oh, it was because of this and all of that. They even linked it to the same-sex marriage bill and all of that. It was the National Assembly that passed that bill. So where are his facts? Because the part of his facts he did not also tell us is that the 2015 election, I can give you with empirical facts that is rigging that outweighed rigging.
Do you have the facts here, Rufai?
Oh, I'll give you the facts.
Empirically.
I'll give you the facts, and I've even enunciated them.
Okay, really quickly.
Rivers State election, for instance. How did the PDP get over 1 million votes in Rivers? Since we started using beavers, has anybody gotten 1.4 million votes? Kano election, for instance. How did the APC get over 1.5 million votes in Kano 2015 election? So everybody held their stronghold.
Right.
One passed the other one.
All right.
Those are facts based on the election reports. Because if they are not facts, the truth is, Nigerian population has increased since 2015. You have more voters on the election register now than it was in 2015. But why is it that all of a sudden the margin of win and the numbers have reduced tremendously?
Question.
So let's stop deceiving ourselves. Like I told Dr. Abati the other day, until we get to the point that Mr. Jonathan will accept, and I think he has already accepted this, that in that election, he lost fair and square.
No, you said they beat him.
They beat him. There were many other factors.
That's what Rufai said.
If he says, okay, there was this American dynamics, if he can give me a copious report on it and how the role America played and how they, I mean, I will take it.
All right.
But till then, it's in the realm of allegation and speculation.
All right, there was a huge argument earlier when I came in the studio, and I would like your quick comments on that argument, whether or not the US should provide facts or what the rep had said was to be taken.
So the first thing I'll make, the first
with a
thing
pinch of salt or not.
The first thing I mentioned was that when a congressman, someone of that caliber, comes out to make allegations like that, then it carries weight more than just a man on the street who is saying that. The assumption is that for him to come out to say something like that, then he must have some kind of information that is not privy to the public as at yet. The second thing I said, and during this was during the interview with Professor Kiyemi, was that the Chief of Defense Staff himself had alluded to the fact that there must be some conspiracy with international non-governmental organizations who have trained Boko Haram, funded Boko Haram because of what they have received post getting some or arresting some of these Boko Haram insurgents, that they had foreign currencies on them. They seem to be quite sophisticated, so they must have international backing. That's second.
Yes.
Now, with all of this coming together, the next thing I would expect the Nigerian state to do would be to investigate further. Simple. Don't forget that internally as well, we have people who are said to be saboteurs. They cannot work in isolation. They have people who they are colluding with if the allegation proves to be true. Right. There's not a lot we can do with America, as Professor Kemi said, but there's a lot we can do with our own internal saboteurs. Finally, on this point, while we're speaking, a girl who lost her brother, who was a soldier to Boko Haram, said that they found out that some of the soldiers within the camp were also complicit. They were used as well, and I want some of them would take a break just as they were about to come and attack. And on one of those occasions, when one of them was on Mars, they saw one of their fellow members. So a lot of things around this. Investigations is just that we just have financiers and all of that, and then this will end, but we never have an investigation. It just goes on there.
Speaking about investigation, internal saboteurs, and all of that, in another development, Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan was trending over the weekend after he doubled down on his allegations, insisting that Nigerian government officials demanded bribe from him Gambaryan was detained in Nigeria from February to October 2024 for alleged money laundering and economic destabilization attributed to Binance's activities in Nigeria. Recounting his experience in a post on X, Gambaryan alleged that certain Nigerian lawmakers demanded substantial bribes in cryptocurrency to the tune of $150 million. He also claimed that Nuhu Ribadu, the national security advisor, sought significant payouts from Binance for his political ambition, while the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, in a swift rebuttal, dismissed Gambaryan's allegations as outrageous and defamatory, adding that the Nigerian government had rejected a $5 million offer from Binance intended to secure Gambaryan's release, but rather opted for a more favorable settlement with the U.S. government. Professor Kila, I know that you are abreast with this conversation, but you know it's a huge allegation, huge defamation case coming for Tigran at this moment. But let me just take some reaction. Let me take a reaction from Ben Murray Bruce, who wrote, I've known Malam Nuhu Ribadu my entire life, and I can say with absolute certainty that he is incapable of allegations being leveled against him. I challenge Tigran Gambaryan to undergo a lie detector test if he genuinely believes the claims he has made. It is exhausting to witness individuals repeatedly dragging Nigeria's name through the mud with baseless accusations and fabricated evidence. Tigran Gambaryan should consider himself fortunate to have been allowed to leave, because if Nuhu had his way, I am confident, or supremely confident, he would have ensured that he remained behind bars for 100 years, I swear on my life. Guma is lying, and I demand that Tigran submit to a lie detector test. I mean, this is a statement. I mean, I didn't know that Ben Bruce and Nuhu Ribadu were that close. I mean, this comment was quite viral also. He says he can swear on his life that Nuhu Ribadu will not do that. But you know, the federal government's rebuttal was quite strong. Yeah. Even Tigran responded to that, and I'll read a part of his tweet. And he wrote, responding to the federal government, saying, you investigated, yet you didn't take a statement from me. A person with direct knowledge. What a joke. You dragged my name through the mud for the past year with zero evidence against me, nearly killed me and caused trauma to my family. And now you have the nerve to talk about defamation? I'll put my credibility on the line anytime. You mean like last time in court when your attorneys didn't even show up to the human rights suit in Abuja? Get your facts straight. I am done with this foolishness. I said my part. I'll be off Twitter, which is X, now, since it's pointless to argue with evil. This man is doubling down, saying that he is absolutely correct to say that Nuhu Ribadu and those three lawmakers, who he named actually in his tweet, asked him for money boldly.
Well, it's a fascinating, enjoyable case if it were not for the reality that affects Nigeria. But we must be very clear with ourselves. It is unfortunate, but it is true that it is easy to believe the Nigerian officials ask people for bribe. And that is something we need to work on. There's no point. I mean, good luck to Ben Bruce, who wants to swear on his life. I would tell him to take a test detector as well.
A lie detector.
A lie detector as well.
Okay.
To say where he's been. Good luck to him that believes so much in anybody in Nigeria. They say, no, I know they will never take bribe. It's a good thing to have people like that. But history and fact does not demonstrate it, that we have such a situation, such a system. I think what we need to do is to take it one by one. Unfortunately, again, the man was right when he said, you investigated something and you took no document from me. You said you are following a process and your attorneys do not appear in court. You see, these are the kind of haphazardness, these are the kind of little anyhowness that we do, that we need to change. If we want our country to be great enough where people will not accuse us of taking bribe, or where we will not be denied visa, we will not inflate the number of people applying for visa, and we will not get angry for that.
Shots fired.
We should just do little things in the right way. That's all we need. No big magic. Just a lot of people doing little things the right way, and this country will be great.
Okay. I mean, just to state the fact again, to be clear, that, you know, I believe that in the tweet that he had who put out about Nuhu Ribadu, just to clarify, he didn't say Nuhu Ribadu asked for money. Just to clarify that again. But I mean, I really love your analysis on this topic. And I think that, I mean, I saw you were taken aback by his statement about whether, you know, government officials are corrupt or not. But, you know, it's easy for people to think that because of the index out there. And, you know, it's good that we'll continue on this story. We'll follow up and investigate the story. Huge defamation.
Huge. You mentioned names.
And there's too many names. Important names as well. Well, in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke, in a strong rebuke on Sunday, accused his predecessor, Boyega Oyetola, of allegedly planning mayhem in the state by issuing illegal directives to security operatives to enforce a non-existent court ruling to reinstate sacked local government chairpersons. Adeleke made the allegations during a press conference, saying that Oyetola is enforcing illegality simply because he's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's nephew. Let's take a look at that video before we come back for a discussion.
I, however, regret to inform Mr. President and the public that Mr. Boyega Oyetola has concluded an arrangement to cause mayhem in Osun State, starting from Monday. He is issuing illegal directives to security operatives to enforce illegality simply because he is nephew of Mr. President. I choose to allow the nation before my people are killed or maimed by a minister dropping the name of Mr. President in connivance with the Osun State security operatives obeying unlawful orders. The bone of contention is embracing effrontery to return to office council chairman sacked by a subsidiary court judgment using a different court decision, which has no consequential order.
I mean, Governor Adeleke there, really strong and stern. I mean, what got a lot of people talking on social media was the fact that he said, you know, Oyetola is going around with this illegality because he's President Tinubu's nephew. Yeah. I mean, that was a strong statement, really.
Well, anytime I heard Adeleke talk, my first question is, did he dance before he said it? Or
did he dance before
after he said it? But this is a strong allegation, and we must put in the context, you know, never mind if it's anybody's nephew. Point is, Adeleke is the chief security officer of the state. If he thinks somebody is planning to invoke chaos or cause chaos in the state, he has not only the right, but the duty to point it out. Absolutely. But although he must be based on fact as well. Well, I think at this point, the next step should be for the security agents to be on alert and maybe send a note to Oyetola saying, "Dear sir, we understand you have evil intention. Please don't do it, because if you do it, we'll beat you black and blue," as Rufai will say.
Can I just say something very quick? This is why a lot of people are pushing for state police.
Yes.
Because people have said, oh, why is he coming out? Is he not the chief security officer of the state? Let him handle his state. Yeah. But there are limits to his power because there's still federal might at play. And if federal might is backing Oyetola, allegedly, then he's at a disadvantage, even though he's the governor and the chief security officer of the state. So he did what was in the best interest of the state. Come out now and call it out while still trying to find out how to deal with the issue internally. Absolutely. So good one for him.
Yes, we'll follow up on the story as always. Well, let's head over to Enugu State now, where the state government has refuted claims that it demolished a building with occupants still inside. The building was reported to be located in Penko's Agbakal axis of Enugu Metropolis. The governor's media aide described the video as misleading, saying that the video was not from Enugu State, but somewhere in the north. Let's take a look at that video. This was a shocking video to see. This demolition has gone to the extent. But this media aide from Enugu State, his name is Ruben Onyushi, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Enugu. He posted this rebuttal on Facebook, but I'm charging him to bring evidence of where that actual incident occurred. Because we had people in Enugu saying that that's where it happened, but the state government has said that, you know, the demolition exercise has been legal, and a lot of people in Enugu state are very proud of the governor for all the demolition exercises that he's been doing so far. I mean, I've seen some videos from Enugu state, but we are going to follow up on this story hopefully tomorrow, because I want a detailed response as to where that incident occurred, what part of the north that incident occurred, and who were those people that were inside the building as the demolition was going on. Well, all right. We'll head over to the United Kingdom now for a wrap of the biggest night in British cinema. The 78th BAFTA Awards political thriller Conclave took home the biggest prize of the night, winning the Best Film Award. The Brutalist won 4 awards, including the Best Actor prize for Adrian Brody, while Mickey Madison was recognized with the Best Actress Award for her role in Anora. Zoe Salanda won Best Supporting Actress for her role in Emilia Perez.
And the BAFTA goes to
Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez.
This is so validating and a true honor, because the very few times that I won for a part with a British accent, the dialect coach was like, this is not gonna happen for you. And even though I do love a British accent, I have a lot of British friends, because voices need to be heard, just not my English accent. Bye, guys.
I am so grateful, and I want to thank this wonderful institution for not only honoring me, but for everyone here tonight who's done such great work, and everyone who's been nominated, and for acknowledging all of this hard work. Thank you to my wonderful British, beautiful girlfriend, Georgina Chapman, who's an angel. And I'm so humbled by this. Thank you. I will cherish this. Thank you all.
the BAFTA goes to Conclave.
I want to thank Tessa, the most wonderful producer. Thank you for going on this journey with me. You are, working with you in development, during production, in the edit. You're just the best producer I know. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Fantastic. Congratulations to all the winners at the BAFTA. That was Edward Berger for Conclave. Beautiful movie. I went to the Golden Globes and I had my fingers crossed for Conclave because it was such a beautiful political thriller about the election of the Pope. And what is so important is that a Nigerian was part of that whole selection process. I was really impressed with it. Also very impressed with Zoe Salanda, obviously, because, it was such a tough role for her to play. But spoiler alert, I thought Demi Moore was going to win for Best Actress. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed for Demi Moore, hopefully for the Oscars. But they say that...
you rooting for her against Zoe Saldana?
No, Zoe Saldana won Best Supporting Actress, not for Best... No, she won for Best Actress. I love Zoe Saldana, But I will root for Demi Moore because, this woman, G.I. Joe was my favorite, really.
For me, The Conclave was it because,
I thought so too.
If you read a lot of Dan Brown's book, you'll be able to see the intricacies that goes on with the election of who the Pope becomes. Many years ago, just reading Dan Brown and seeing how the process pans out and trying to juxtapose that process with when this current Pope did come in. It was just a very exciting moment.
Yeah, did you actually see the film? I actually only realized how to pronounce Rafe Fiennes. I thought it was Raffins my entire life. She was the actor in the film. So just for the correction, is Rafe Fiennes for his role in the Conclave was brilliant, really. Your take on Emilia Perez, because I know that you love Zoe Salanda.
It was so good to see her win here. And one of the good things about these lead up to the Oscars, if I can put it that way, is that it gives an indication of who might emerge as winner at the Oscars, and that's the big one. You know, like it or no, that's the big one. So
the BAFTA, right?
No, yeah, the BAFTAs, Golden Globes, they lead or set the pace. So sometimes you're able to know who might eventually win at the Oscars. It was great to see her come, and it was emotional for her to win that award. Like you mentioned rightly, playing that role in terms of as a supporting actress wasn't easy, but she nailed it.
She nailed it.
She'll be rewarded for this. I'm looking forward to seeing how she might perform at the Oscars.
She might snag the Oscars as well. You know what was so important about the BAFTAs and the award ceremony? Basically, Arise Play has partnered with all of these amazing award ceremonies to stream live. So yes, they were able, if you are plugged onto Arise Play, you would have been able to watch the entire show for free. I mean, for your subscription, you would have been able to watch it. So I was able to see it because obviously. So you guys can go on Arise Play, plug in Arise Play, and
in fact, I think even leading up to this award, we had a proper countdown that Judita used to do. We used to go through all the movies and everything. And we had exclusive interviews with almost all the acts, you know, and people that were nominated. So it's just a great one. Arise Play is bringing.
I know Arise Play has interviewed all of the most amazing people. I mean, we had Jennifer Olize on ground in London. Unfortunately, we weren't able to connect with her, but you know, Arise will always be there to bring you guys all the latest updates for all the awards ceremony. But I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending. Welcome aboard, Professor Killer.
Professor Killer.
Well, all right, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.
So guys, back to the topic. You can see that David Hundeyin knew the implication of the US aid that is being sent to Nigeria. We know David Hundeyin, an investigative journalist. He understands that this money has been entering into the hands of the wrong people. And guess what? Trump's victory was like a consolidation to him, gave him that boldness to come out. He quickly wrote Elon Musk telling him that, see, US money has been coming into Nigeria and other places. And guess what? They are using it to fund these bad guys. And they are silent over it. That even after Donald Trump's inauguration, people boldly sent in more money into the hands of these bad guys who have been destabilizing the country, destroying schools, destroying mosques, destroying churches, spying people, men, women, displacing people. Even the Nigerian military is not free from all this. We know how many of our men that have been spied. Some of them, their helicopters were even shot down. You know, some of them, they were caught unawares in military bases, like we've seen recently. Do you know how many attacks have happened in the military base in Borno State? Do you know how many, I mean recent attacks, not the previous one, recent attacks that have happened in Nigeria, courtesy of Boko Haram. And now all these things are being disclosed that Obama actually orchestrated all this against the Nigerian people. I can't believe that an African, a Kenyan, could just sit down and feel he wants to change the government of the day, and terrorism was the only thing he remembered he could lay hold on. I think there are other ways. Being an American president, just you coming out to issue statements are enough to make people change their mind. But he decided to take this strategy of using terrorists. This is unbelievable. I don't think Nigerians should take this for granted. I'm just hoping that we'll get to a point that Obama should actually be called out to come answer for himself, to know if these things are true or not, because we cannot but tolerate this. Honestly, Nigeria should sit up. If it's South Africa, I don't think South Africa can throw this under the carpet. But because in Nigeria, we have weak leaders that don't know how to talk. Because with all these things, people like Tinubu has not even come out to issue any statement. Has not come out to say, okay, we are setting up investigation panel to go in and dig deep into what actually transpired, you know, during the Jonathan's regime. You can see that the APC is actually something else. So because they wanted to oust Jonathan, they went this length, they went this far. They didn't consider the consequences on the Nigerian people. It did not bother them what that means to Nigerians. So guys, sometimes there are things you will hear. You'll be wondering if these things actually happened, or are they just exaggeration? I mean, you can also hear that some military men were complicit It got to a point that before an attack will happen, they will tell you that military went on break. Then attacks will happen. Nigerians who did this to us were equally told that during the Jonathan's time, there was a time that American military men were sent. And they came, they said they can't work with Nigerian military because there are so much sabotage. Was that the reality, or were they just trying to cover up that they didn't want the insurgency to end, and they ended up using that as an excuse? A whole lot is yet to unpack. But this is to tell you how gullible these politicians in Nigeria can be. They just want to gain power. They just want to be in leadership. They wanted to oust Jonathan to take over power. See where they've landed Nigeria. So guys, sometimes I cannot just but understand what we are seeing. I cannot just but believe that men and women who have children, grown up and aged men, you see the age of people in politics in Nigeria, some of them are grannies. These are the same people who connived with the powers that be to oust Jonathan, and the only thing they could lay hold on was to use insecurity. You know, they orchestrated, bring back our girls and all kinds of things just to oust the sitting president. It's really so sad that Nigeria could suffer all this from somebody who is African born, but because he is a leader in another country, he allowed all these things to play out. Thanks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump will keep exposing them. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.